Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, everyone. This is Deacon Gerald Celente of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice. Freedom, peace, justice. You're not allowed to speak about those words on mainstream media. No one's allowed to speak about peace. It's forbidden. And I read Joe Biden's State of the Union address, and it's pretty disgusting, I would say, just like most of these politicians. They just spew out a lot of baloney, try to get reelected. I'm going to read some of what he said. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault here at home as they are here today. Well, I must admit he's correct, because he's one of the people that stole our freedom and democracy, along with the one before him, and by Trump, who on March 13th, 2020, Black Friday, declared a national emergency to fight the COVID war. And that's the language that they used, by the way. The presidents, one after another, all around the world, that were fighting a war. The quotes are there. And this is the Biden that no jab, no job. Yeah, you get in, this is the Biden that imposed so many draconian mandates on we the people, that talks about freedom and democracy. That if you don't believe what the government is saying, you believe in misinformation, and try to put a misinformation person to run a misinformation CIA, another agency platform to stop the people from speaking about peace. This is the lies that spew out of the mouths of little clowns running a country near you. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack, both here at home and overseas, at the very same time. I've been hearing, I guess since I started reading about the history of the United States wars, about how they convinced young boys back in World War II that were World War I that were going overseas to, quote, fight for democracy. How many times have we heard that? And again, what democracy do we have here in the United States? You have a choice between two parties, the Bloods or the Crips. By their deeds you shall know them. They are murderers and they are thieves. They steal our money in the name to give it to the bankster bandits that are too big to fail. The J.P. Morgan Chases, convicted of 5 felonies, convicted, one after another. The thieves that steal our money to give to their buddies. Yeah, they're going to create jobs. You're just a slob. Thieves that steal our money to give to the military-industrial complex. And how Lloyd Austin, a murderer-in-chief, killed a lot of people over there in Iraq and Afghanistan. Oh, he's our defense secretary, formerly worked for Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor. Bragged last week about the jobs that are being created because of the murderous weapons that they're making in America to keep bloodying the killing fields in Gaza and Ukraine. Yeah. Thieves and murderers, by their deeds you shall know them. Whose wars did you love the best? Let's go back to all the living presidents that are dead, morally dead. You like Bill Clinton? Over 500,000 Iraqi children dead under the age of 5. And Madeline not all that bright? Yep. said on Leslie Stahl's 60 Minutes, when asked if the price of 500,000 children was worth the price, yes, it is. Yeah. Oh, if only women were in charge. Good and bad comes in everything. Black, white, yellow, green, men, women. So save it. Oh, and then there's the murder of little Georgie Bush and the Nobel Peace of Crap Prize, Barack Obama. I want that guy Assad out of there. I want that guy Gaddafi out of there. Yeah. We're getting involved in the Yemen war where some 377,000 people have been killed, over half of them children. Yeah. Oh, and I forgot Trump. I want that guy Soleimani out of here. We're going to overthrow the government over there, Venezuela. We're putting in that guy Guaido. We'll starve the people. We don't care. Trump. Nobody ever supported Israel. No president more than I have. And he moves the United States Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and tells Israelis, you know, that land you stole from Syria and the Golan Heights, it's yours. This is the clown show in Biden, not a war that he didn't love. An arrogant boy. 5 draft deferments during the Vietnam War. He's about 3.5 years older than me. Yeah. I remember the Vietnam War every day when I was a young guy. Every day I wake up and they're going to get me. And I was too stupid. I believed the mainstream media. I even voted for Richard Nixon. I used to want to go over there and get shot. Biden loves war. Right after he makes this statement, he goes into, remember, what makes our moment rare is that the freedom and democracy are under attack both home and overseas. At the same time, overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march, invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond. That is a total lie. He's not sowing chaos beyond Europe and beyond. Again, totally opposed to the invasion, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Totally understand why it happened. Wrote about it in detail in your Trends Journal going back to 2014 when the United States overthrew the democratically elected government of Viktor Yanukovych. And Victoria Nuland was the head of doing that. All the details are there. Caught on the phone, telling another little boy of nothing, Jeffrey Pyatt, who's the UN ambassador to Ukraine, F you. Actually said, fuck you. Or fuck the EU. That was it. We're putting Yatsen, a little boy of nothing again, this little Yatsenyuk. They overthrew the government. People don't remember the lie that NATO would not move 1 inch further, the deal made between Gorbachev and Bush Sr. The verbal agreement. There were 16 NATO countries back then. Now there were double. Oh, Sweden just joined last week. Biden goes on to lie. If anybody in this room thinks Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will not. How about if anybody outside that room? No. This is freedom and democracy. He didn't say you American people. Just the dictators that are running America. Yep, that's what he said. Yep. I assure you he will not. He assures you? Who's this little clown to assure anybody of anything? How could anybody be so low to look up to these people? Trump, Biden, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck. But Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the weapons it needs to defend itself, to provide the weapons to keep killing people. America, freedom and democracy, where is the outrage? Why am I the only one saying this, or one of the very few? Where is the outrage? Weapons it needs. That is all Ukraine is asking. And, yep. But now assisting for Ukraine is being blocked by those who want to walk away from our leadership in the world. You have no right to lead anybody in the world. You have the only right to be the president of the United States, and you couldn't lead a Boy Scout troop. Any of you. Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, narcissistic freaks, sociopathic liars, murderers. By their deeds you shall know them. Yep. If the United States walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk, Europe at risk, the free world at risk, emboldening others who wish to harm us. Total lie propaganda. The domino theory. Oh, you forgot that one, Biden, when you were a draft dodger during the Vietnam War. If we don't stop those commies in Vietnam, those dominoes will keep falling across Asia, and before you know it, they'll hit the shores of California. Same lie then, same lie now. We must stand up to Putin. Oh, we? How about you? How about you and Putin get in the ring and fight each other? Yeah. You say you're going to stand up to him. Yep. My message to Putin is simple. We will not walk away. We will not bow down. I will not bow down. Ha. Then you go lead the charge, put on your military drag uniform, and go out there and fight if you say you're not going to bow down. Yep. It goes on. And then, of course, the big news in his talk that they're going to build a port over there in Gaza to feed the people. Oh, it's only going to take maybe a month to build. And meanwhile, all the trucks are lined up with food, and Israel won't let them in. And when they did let them in, they shot the people. Facts are there. But of course, we're only allowed to know the lies. Yep. Humanitarian assistance cannot be secondary. What a bunch of baloney. I avoided. Yeah. Freedom and democracy. It goes on. He ends it by saying, may God bless you all. May God protect our troops. God does not protect troops that are murdering people, innocent people in countries we should not be in. And you use God's name in vain. You pretend to be a Catholic. What Christ do you believe in? No, I know. You said you were a Zionist. Yeah. A made-up thing by Herzl in the late 1800s. Nothing to do with religion. Just about land stealing. And today, Erdogan, the president of Turkey, said Netanyahu earned his place alongside Hitler and Stalin. Yep. He said he accused Israel of acting as the Nazis of our time while committing humanitarian crimes in Gaza. We cannot be coerced into designating Hamas as a terrorist organization. We communicate with them openly and stand behind them. Again, I'm totally opposed to what Hamas did, totally understand what's been going on and why. Wrote about it in details, write about it in details, since Netanyahu and what the mainstream media called his extreme right-wing government, killing people and stealing land, 39 weeks of judicial protests in Israel that everybody forgot against Netanyahu. When all else fails, they take you to war. Yep. And if you don't believe Netanyahu, this is reported in Middle East Monitor on Saturday. Rabbi, according to Jewish law, all Gaza residents must be killed. Heil Hitler. The head of the Shirat Moshe Hester Yeshiva in Yafa, Rabbi Ilyaya Mali, incited his students who were serving in the Israeli army after graduating from the yeshiva to commit massacres against the residents of Gaza. He stated that according to Jewish law, all residents of Gaza must be killed. When asked about the elderly and children, he replied, quote, "The same applies to them." Mali described the war waged by Israel as, quote, "a religious war." So too did Lindsey Graham. And why are we involved in religious war? How about if I don't believe in your religion? You don't have to believe in the religion that I believe in, the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice, but you don't tell me I have to believe in your religion. Quote, "The basic laws in a religious war, and this case in Gaza, is that, quote, you shall not leave alive anything that breathes. And if you do not kill them, they will kill you. Today's saboteurs are the children in the previous military operation." You mean the previous military operation in which Israel slaughtered Palestinians and keeps stealing their land? You referring to that? "Whom you kept alive, and the women who are the ones who produce the saboteurs." He added, "It is either you or them. No soul could live on the basis of," quote, "if someone comes to kill you, rise up and kill him first." The Babylonian Talmud. This applies not only to the 14 to 16-year-old boy or the 20 to 30-year-old man who points a gun at you, but also to the future generation. This also applies to those who produce the future generation as well, because in reality, there is no difference. So you kill the mothers too. Kill all the Palestinians. Hitler's words out of the rabbi's mouth. In response to the question about killing of elderly people, Mali claimed there is a difference between a civilian population elsewhere and a civilian population in Gaza. In Gaza, according to estimates, whose estimates? Whose estimates? Oh, my estimates. "95 to 98% want to annihilate us. Wonder why? Probably true. After bombing their buildings to ruin, after killing over 30,000, after wounding some 80,000, after tens of thousands of innocent people still buried under the rubble, can't understand why they'd want to retaliate. Oh, no, only you're allowed to retaliate. When asked children to, the rabbi said, it's the same thing. You can't embellish with the Torah. Embellish the Torah. You can't embellish with the Torah. Today he's a child, tomorrow he's a fighter. There is no question here. Today's terrorists were 8-year-old children in the previous military operation. The previous military operation, that you killed their mother, their father, their sisters, their brothers, destroyed their homes, threw them out of them, and made them go into Gaza. You mean that generation? So you cannot stop there. Therefore, the ruling concerning Gaza, I don't believe in the Torah. How about that? How about I don't believe in the Bible? Why do I have to believe what you believe in? Because you believe in something, that does not give you the right to kill people. That does not give you the right to steal their land. That does not give you the right to starve them. Oh, my Bible says so. Wonder why the president of Turkey, Erdogan, refers to you people as Hitler. By their deeds you shall know them. Harvard professor Noah Feldman denounces opposition to Gaza genocide as new anti-Semitism. Yep. Anybody that hates Israel's genocide, as your cover of the Trends Journal shows, is an anti-Semite. Oh, here we go. Israeli strikes landmark residential tower in southern Rafah. This is on Saturday. Reuters reported it. Israel struck one of the largest residential towers. Yep. 300 residents. Hamas was hiding in there. They were hiding in there under the beds. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Hamas was doing this to Israel and bombing a 12-story building with 300 residents? Oh, my God. And then growth of Israeli settlements at record high. Yep. Human Rights Council of Geneva said the West Bank is already in crisis, yet settler violence and settlement-related violations have reached shocking new levels and risk eliminating any practical possibility for establishing a Palestinian state. The 16-page report records 24,300 new Israeli housing units in occupied West Bank in a one-year period ending October last year. Occupied stolen land in violation of the Geneva Conventions and Article 242 of the United Nations. But you're called an anti-Semite for saying that. Yep. The growth of Israeli settlements amounts to the transfer of transfer by Israel of its own civilian population into occupied territories, which is a war crime, according to the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Turk. So there you have it. That's just some of it. And the UK pro-Palestinian anti-Israel activist sprayed paint slashes historic portrait of Balfour. This is reported by the Times of Israel, that a pro-Palestinian on Friday ruined the portrait of Arthur Balfour. Arthur Balfour, who's Arthur Balfour? Well, you know who he is. He's a foreign secretary in the early 20th century. And what he did was On the post that they did after they ripped this painting apart, they said, the Post accused Balfour of beginning, quote, the ethnic cleansing of Palestine by promising the land away, which the British never had a right to, end quote. And they go on to write, the Balfour Declaration was a 67-word letter in 1917 from Balfour, then Foreign Secretary, to Lionel Rothschild, a prominent British Zionist, supporting the creation of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. The document is credited with eventually helping to spur the creation of Israel in 1948 on the United Nations plan to partition British Mandate Palestine between Jews and the Arabs. Who are the British to determine this? British Mandate Palestine? You're over there in the UK. What are you doing over there? Oh, I forgot, the sun never sets on the British Empire. We slaughter people all over the world. Israel has no right to this land. The Balfour Declaration was given to you by the Rothschilds, stealing Palestinian land. We need peace on earth. One of our top trends is World War III has begun, and it is being ramped up day after day, week after week. French Defense Group set up in Ukraine to bolster frontline. Financial Times. Peaceful times are over, said the Polish Prime Minister, another little boy of nothing, Donald Tusk. The times of peace are over. The post-war era is over. We need to fight for war. World War III has begun. Evil people are in charge. If we don't unite for peace, we're going to die in war. We're doing everything we can. So please do everything you can. We have to get a major peace rally going. Every penny you give us, we spend for peace. And we got to get a global peace movement going. We have to. So please support us. Because if we don't unite for peace, we're going to die in war. Thank you very much. Amen and amen.